Are you single?
I am very much single.
Okay. Became a film actor.
Yeah.
Is your family used to reading about you? There'll be gossip, there'll be interest in your love life, there'll be
Yeah.
interest in everything. How do they react?
So whenever there's an article that comes out which is completely fictional, we all have a laugh about it.
Suppose you have a relationship. Are you someone who will talk about it and tweet about it and Instagram about it? Or are you like, these are my things, I'm not going to share this?
It's a very normal part of your life. If you
Okay.
date someone, everyone dates someone.
Right. Of
So I don't
course.
think there's anything to hide
Hide.
about it. I don't think I would go out of my way to hide it, nor would I go out of my way to tell the
announce it,
world.
right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's just something which is a very normal part of my life. It's like me telling people, oh, I'm having a glass of water today.
This year, there were a lot of people at the Cannes from
Yeah,
India.
yeah.
So there was a bit of a flack on the internet that why are these people there?
See, the whole world is looking at India.
Yeah.
The whole world is looking at representation from India.
Yeah.
Whether you talk about brands, you talk about films, everyone is looking at India as the next big thing. Hi, I'm Anushi Chilla and you're watching this on Bollywood Hangama.
You know, this is also just for young people who are coming to the city to become actors. Again, are you prepared that hustle will always be there? Chalo, ye do to mil gayi, ye do release ho jayegi. Now immediately have to jump on and get something else. Do you also have that fire that I have to get it?
Of course, like I said, in the field that I'm in, the fact that you have to have that fire, you have to put your best foot forward, you have to be aggressive in approaching films because films are not going to come for you. No one's
sitting.
I know that no one's sitting and making films for me. Okay. I have to go out and I have to try for 10 films and maybe a few films out of those, will come to me. And the funny thing is that I had my first release a year ago and I have shot for a lot of films. I've kept myself fairly busy.
Right.
I did shoot for a film in the pandemic. I did try to, I mean, of course, Tehran has been announced, which we shot last year. Operation Valentine I'm shooting, and there are other films which I obviously cannot talk about.
Sure. Okay.
I have kept myself fairly busy, and I think that's what I've realized, that films will release at their own pace. When the time is right. Things will go on. There might be, I mean, no one imagined there would be a pandemic and theatres would be shut. Yeah. But now today I realize that there'll be these other things which you don't have control over. Yeah. For an individual, for me in this industry, I have to keep working, I have to keep grabbing more opportunities, I have to keep growing.
Right. Do you watch a lot? Because everybody says that you have to watch almost. You have to. Do you?
You have to.
Do you?
You learn a lot from that. Now, this is one thing one habit which I had to adopt. Okay. I was not a person who watched a lot of films growing up. Okay. I was not someone who, I still remember, when I was shooting for my first film, a lot of times the director or the director, Dr. Saab or Adi sir would be like, oh, so and so, and I'd be like, I don't. And Adi sir would always be like, oh my God, we'll have to tell her who is who. She doesn't know who she's working with. She doesn't know. Everyone who's involved in the project. He used to tell me, these are big people, these are popular people, they've done big films.
Right, you come from another world.
Yeah, I come from another world. True. So I always watched films that either my sister or my parents or my brother were watching. I was never the one who would decide that, I want to watch this film. So I'd always go with them to watch a film. I started watching films after I signed my first film, Prithvi Raj. Wow, okay. So I remember every Friday I used to go, good film, bad film, whatever. I used to go I used to watch a film. That was in the theatre. That was my little task that my little list that I had made, and I still continue to do so.
Okay.
Because I think you learn a lot by being the audience. You learn a lot by just watching films. You can do as many acting classes, you can do as many workshops. But I think there's a lot of learning that you get by being an audience, by just observing a film and realizing. And the more you work on a film, now that I've had one release, just understanding simple things like film editing.
Right, yeah.
Today I understand it a little more. When I watch a film, I'm able to notice certain things about why something worked and why something didn't work. So that's a great learning experience.
That is very interesting. Yeah. But again, there are very few ways of upping the game. You keep watching, you keep, you must have already done the acting school bit and all that. Yeah. I can imagine. So yeah, so great that you enjoy watching, or you're watching it for a job.
A bit of both.
A bit of both.
When I enjoy watching a film, I do not notice anything about it.
Okay, yeah.
When I enjoy watching a film, I'm just in another world. Yeah, that's my little escapism. Right. But sometimes when I really, and this has happened, when I've really enjoyed watching a film, I watched it again then to observe why did I enjoy it, what did they do, how did they act, and other things.
Right. I'm interviewing you just after you've come from Cannes.
Yeah.
One is, how was that experience?
That experience was wonderful. I think I have been such a dreamer since childhood. I've had these big dreams in life, and I think for me, Cannes was one little thing that I can now tick off my my list. That yes,
Big
I
one,
went on that red carpet. I wore my nice little gown.
Yeah.
I had my little moment of vanity.
Yeah,
and
yeah. We were
so
all
the-
watching. We were all watching.
So Cannes was fun. In fact, I think my team did a great job.
Okay.
I had just come back. Like I'd landed in Bombay in the afternoon, and at night I had my flight out. So I did not know what I was wearing. I did
Wow,
not know what I was doing.
Right.
I just had faith in my team that everything would come together, and I think that's what happened. And I think that's when magic happens, when you let everyone do what they're best at.
Absolutely. This year there were a lot of people at the Cannes from
Yeah,
India.
yeah.
So there was a bit of a flack on the internet that why are these people there? Like, for example, Aishwarya and everybody have always gone for brands and not always for movies.
Yeah.
This year, why was there flack, do you think, that why are these people, or why are so many people there?
To be very honest, I think last year we had it was about the Indian pavilion. So we
Yes.
had I think we had more Indians last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But this year again, see, the whole world is looking at India.
Yeah.
The whole world is looking at representation from India.
Yeah.
Whether you talk about brands, you talk about films, everyone is looking at India as the next big thing. And it only makes sense. We are the largest producers of films.
Yeah.
We are such we consume so many films. We are such a large audience when you compare us to the world population. Yes, we might not have as many screens as certain countries, but we do have a lot of population that consumes content. So it makes sense, even in this industry, to have more representation from India. Yes, many went through the medium of having a film,
Right.
such as Kennedy being
Yes.
played
Right.
over there, versus some of us went through brands.
Right.
So I think it's a combination of
a
both.
mix.
Whether you talk about brands or you talk about the global film industry, everyone's looking at India. So
Right.
it only makes sense for us. If we're such a large population, it only
Yeah.
makes sense for us to have that proportion of people
Be all over
representing
the
at a film
place.
festival.
Right. Lastly, tell me, because you became a film actor,
Yeah.
is your family used to reading about you? There'll be gossip, there'll be interest in your love life, there'll be
Yeah.
interest in everything. First question is, how do they react? Does anyone question you, hey, what is this?
Not really. See, the best part about living with your parents is they know exactly what's going on in your life.
Right.
So whenever there's an article that comes out which is absolutely uninformed and which is completely fictional, we all have a laugh about it amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
I remember when I was Miss World, there was the very first time there were things that would come out which were absolutely like false and which were actually funny.
Okay.
I remember there was something that came out about me, I think, being banned from my college or something like that, which was really funny because poor thing, the director of my college, he wrote an apology. He's like, no, we didn't do all of this. He got scared. He said, poor thing, this girl is going out there doing her bit and representing us at Miss World. And so it was just, he said, we don't know where this article has come out from. And they released like an official notice. I think they took it too seriously.
Right.
I didn't. They took it too seriously. They released a notice. We have not banned anyone, from our college. So I think things like this used to happen. A lot of things, I've read a lot of fictional stories about myself.
Okay.
I think we kind of learned to laugh about it. We never got too carried away by it because that's something which, growing up, we also realized that there's so much you read on the internet about film stars, which is absolutely untrue. About popular people, which is absolutely untrue.
Okay.
We have lives like
Lot of
anyone
it is
else.
true sometimes.
We have, I think maybe like 10% of it is true, and then everything else is just built upon it. I can tell you from personal experience.
Okay.
But having said that, I mean, there were things that would come which were just completely fictional, and then there are things which would come which had some truth in it. So there's a bit of both. They are kind of used to it. I don't think they actively would search and read and ask me.
Sure.
Nothing as such, because I live with them. They pretty much know what's going on in my life.
Are you someone who will get angry if you read something?
About myself?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Like, I think when I remember the college ban thing, I felt a little, I was like, whoa, what happened? I was in London, I was doing something for Miss World, and I woke up and someone sent me this article, and I said, what does this even mean? I said, what does this even mean?
Right.
So I think that was the first time I was like, I was not angry, but I was just like a little confused as to what do I make out of this.
Right.
I don't think I've ever been angry about reading something about myself. I
Right.
think there have been times people have said frivolous things. There have been times people have pretended that they know what's going on in my life, which is I know is not true. I don't think it
That's
really
important.
And
Right.
I think what happens professionally for me, I understand that there's a certain part of my life that I share with the public,
Right.
which I would care about, maintaining a certain reputation, and I would care about what is shared with respect to that.
Right.
But the part of me which is private, I really don't care what people think, because
Okay.
as long as the people in my life know what's happening, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what a stranger thinks.
Right. How much of your life are you ready to share with the public? Are you someone who will be like, okay, this is just for me? Like, suppose you have a relationship. Are you someone who will talk about it and tweet about it and Instagram about it? Or are you like, these are my things, I'm not going to share this?
I don't think I'm an extreme one either. I don't think I'm someone who's, I love my parents. There's sometimes I post about them. There's sometimes I don't post about them because I don't need validation from the public, or I don't need to show the public how much I love them.
Sure.
I can always go up to them and tell them that they mean a lot to
I'm
me.
not asking about parents. I'm saying if you're dating someone,
Yeah.
are you someone who will go out there and be like, are you someone who will hide? Because a lot of actors do that. Fair
I
enough.
don't think I would go out of my way to hide something. I think it's a very normal part of your life. If you
Okay.
date someone, if you are with someone, everyone dates someone.
Right. Of
So I don't think
course.
there's anything to hide
Hide.
about it. I don't think I would go out of my way to hide it, nor would I go out of my way to tell the
announce it,
world.
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something which is a very normal part of my life. It's like me telling people, oh, I'm having a glass of water today.
Right.
Like, does it make sense? It's just a part of life.
As normal as that. Okay, so
Yeah.
are you single?
I am very much single.
Okay. So you're happy sharing your personal space with the public also, because these
Yeah.
are your fans who would like to know a lot of things.
No, I'm very much single.
Okay.
And if I am in love, I would never mind sharing it with the world.
Great. So I'm waiting for your next 2 releases, and I hope around that time we do another sit down, good fun interview like that. All the
Thank
very
you.
best. Extremely proud of you, the way your career has shaped from where you come to where you're sitting right now. Amazing journey.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Manushi Chilla, and you're watching this on Bollywood Hangama.